What's going on, guys? It's your boy Jeremy, aka the Prince of Mixology, and we are here on another episode of Jig and Said Radio. And we're here with somebody special, y'all. Somebody special. Woke up, decided that they're gonna podcast today. Bring to the stage, and it's the stage, y'all. Literally, it's the stage. Well, before we even do this, first off, let's acknowledge the fact this is our first virtual session, and we had a couple of technical difficulties. A couple word. Look, just a couple. Paquito. Okay. But like I love this because it shows that we're growing and we're able to reach audiences and guests and people that want to say something, got something to say. We're able to reach them in different ways that allows other people like yourselves, the listeners, to be able to experience it on a whole different level. And viewers, because we are virtually on the visual and the audio side. So but yes, without further ado, I would like to bring to the stage. Why can't move my computer?
Because you were looking down and it was looking like you're looking down. Let me cover his please open. Okay, keep going down.
God damn it. Okay. Welcome to the stage, Miss Toni. Y'all make some noise. Y'all make some noise. What's Toni Bryce?
Hi.
So what's it? It was a little shimmy for me.
I had to shimmy.
You did a little shimmy.
Shimmy, shimmy, cocoa.
Welcome to the show. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm good. And first I want to say thank y'all for having me and congratulations for, going virtual.
Thank you.
Well, not
Well,
virtual,
yes,
but
like I said, like
you can see y'all.
well, thank you for being our first guest as a virtual member. Like that's it means a lot for real. So we gonna push through this thing. Well, not push through. So I'm gonna say the same thing to you, like we say it to all of our guests, that we just having a conversation. So it's not gonna be scripted. I don't have anything written down. It's gonna be fluid in that sense. So we like I always start off. I always like to ask, like, let's tell the viewers, the people watching, listening, etc. Where are you from? A little bit about your childhood, and then we'll go from there.
So I am originally from St. Louis, but specifically East St. Louis, Illinois. So that's why I
Come
was,
on, STL.
you
Oh,
know,
you're talking about the ill side.
yeah, the Illinois side.
Uh-huh.
Because people don't realize St. Louis is a big city, but the east of St. Louis is in Illinois, the north, south, and west is in Missouri. So I was born and grew up on the Illinois side, but then eventually moved across the water, which is what we say, which is the Mississippi River. And so I grew up also in St. Louis as well. And I actually used to live here in Atlanta as a kid. A lot of my family members moved down here at some point. But yeah, that's where I grew up in St. Louis. And
The volume in the right. No, you're good. You're good. You're good.
that's where I grew up. What else should I say?
I don't know. So okay, so we about to dive into that because I used to live in St. Louis,
Oh,
and
really?
so about 5 years I used to live in. So it started off when I first moved down. I was going to SIUE.
Okay.
Uh, and then so that was in Edwardsville,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's on the ill side. And then I ended up moving to Collinsville.
Okay.
And then I said I'm gonna get my own apartment. So my first apartment was in Florissant,
Okay.
so North County.
Um, that's right.
Yes. And then I think that's when I ended up moving. I moved out from St. Louis and I came to Dallas, but I worked in East St. Louis.
Okay. Well,
Yes, 12th. What was the cross street? 12th Street. And dang, it's not coming to me right now. But yeah, I used to work in the heart of East Louis.
yeah, I mean,
Seeing the prostitutes on the corner,
yeah,
like, doing the
it was
most.
rough. It was really rough. A lot of people don't understand. Like, when you grow up and you then matured and all of that kind of stuff, people don't realize where you come from, especially being an actor. Like, you have to live so many lives through these characters, and sometimes you can't really be who you are and where you come from, so people don't realize. But like East St. Louis is a really rough place, very impoverished, very high in crime.
Not
Like
the
it was
ball.
a lot growing up. And then when you're growing up in it, you don't realize, like, all of the things that you're surviving. So now being a
Mm,
full-grown adult, I look back and I was like I'm like, "Damn, like, you went through a lot, didn't even realize it because it was so normal, but
yeah,
thank God I'm here." So, I made it.
right. Yes, you made it. So, still, riding that tangent now for a bit. So, growing up in East St. Louis, or do you want to say just the ill side? Want to leave it at ill side, or just you want
What's
to say?
wrong too? The 618, whatever.
So, understanding that literally there's a river that divides
Mhm.
the St. Louis side and ill side, East St. Louis, and all the east side of the metroplex. Have you noticed a difference in, like, treatment when people find out that you are from the ill side or the East St. Louis side or Pontoon Beach or wherever? If you on when they find out you on the ill side of the river, do you feel like they treated you differently?
I wouldn't say treated me differently because they wouldn't have known unless,
You
we
told 'em?
obviously we had that conversation, but what I will say is in the moment, there's always that, "Oh," like a little shock value, like, "Oh, you from okay, you East St. Louis, alright." So it's
Yep.
definitely that, but as far as treated me differently, I wouldn't say that. I know growing up though, which is interesting because again, we're just a river apart, but even our lingo and language was very different. So,
Mm.
like China, I won't say what they call it in St. Louis because it's not a, a good term, but what they call it is the Chinese, we call it the Chinese food. But they call it something else. And
Oh,
and
really?
where's the
What
closest
they
Chinese
call
food
it, man?
place?
What they
Oh,
call
no,
it?
we
What they
call it I'm
call it?
sorry, we call it the Rice House is what we call it in East St. Louis, the Rice.
Yes, okay.
In St. Louis, they call it something different. And so I remember the first time we were in like the loop and we stopped and we was like, "Hey, do y'all know where a good rice house is?" And they was like, "A rice house?" It was like, "Yeah, where you eat your food." And he was like, "Oh, you talking about the blah blah blah?" And they was like, "Who?" And never heard of it. I grew up with that term. We always said the rice house. So
Mhm.
it was it was very interesting
Definitely
to me,
really
the little subtle
Yeah.
things, the nuances of it all.
Yeah, yeah, no, I definitely got the same, approach when I tell people I worked in East St. Louis. They're
Mhm.
like, "Oh,
Oof. My
oh," they said, "Oh, and how was that experience?" I said, "Rough."
rough, rough. I
Sometimes it
grew
can
up
there was
in
one time
I grew up specifically in Cahokia and Parkfield, and so
Oh,
Parkfield was
Cahokia.
horrible. Oh my god, it was horrible. My god.
I'm familiar with Cahokia, it's in the middle of nowhere. True. Yeah, yeah. Alright, so with that being said, so we talked about you touched on your childhood a little bit. Let's talk about your transition to the realm of acting and things of that nature.
Mhm.
So talk about how that came to be, like moving towards that the space and like were you wanting to be did you know that you wanted to be a star or be on in media production, entertainment? Did you recognize that at an earlier age?
I would say I don't know necessarily like the stardom or fame of it all, because I know present day I don't have either necessarily. Because I don't
Mm,
know what God or the universe will align and but anywho, I knew I wanted to be an actor. And in high school, my first couple of years, we were in Riverview Garden School District. And so I went to Riverview High School and they didn't have a theater program or any acting. They had like a class, but it was a class without theater. It was really just a class. And so I was like, no, we want to
mm,
go further. And when they lost their accreditation, we moved over to McClure in Ferguson,
mm,
Florissant School District. And so they had a full theater department. And that's where I really got to like live out that dream of being an actor. And my first play, which was A Christmas Carol in 2007, I wasn't even on stage. I was a dramaturg, so I was responsible for the behind the scenes of the marketing, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
Mm.
So how important do you feel that schools like that should have these type of programs? Like to help with the development and understanding of
Mhm.
like, what's out there for them? How important do you feel it is to have these type of programs, you
It's
know?
really important, especially when you are a person, that identifies maybe as trans and are queer. I know a lot of times we feel like those spaces are, really for us in the sense that it's
Mm,
all of the kids that it's all of the quote unquote not cool kids that are all together. And it's just a space for us where we can be us, we can show up as who we are, look how we want to look, identify how we want to identify. Nobody's judging anybody because it's, the arts. And that was my first impression going even into like mainstream TV and films was, oh, the arts isn't like any other place. You're not judged and da 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 and blah blah blah. Like it feels freeing. Um,
yeah.
I mean, that changes as you go. You will
Yeah.
you will see that, but and then too, it was my first introduction of to like what was service to other people, and so that's where I got my first ever like award outside of the classroom setting that was really meaningful. So I got an award in 2009 for service of the year award, and
Okay.
from my troop 787 at McClure High School.
Okay. Sure.
Mhm.
Um, so like when you receive those achievements,
Yeah.
and this is going to go to people having a sense of validation as they go through their lives. I know a lot of times people have issues with social issues because they didn't receive the flowers or properly receive the type of recognition that's needed for someone to say, you know what, I'm gonna keep going.
Mhm.
So for you, when you receive those accolades, like, was that your fuel to keep going?
N Not necessarily
Okay.
because what I mean, at that time, that wasn't the goal. I think the goal was to really, like, find that family, like, that chosen
Mm,
family, like, that's probably my earliest form of chosen family was my theater family, and so, um, doing things became just selfless, and so, when you're being acknowledged and awarded for your selfless work, it's just something you're doing anyway. So
right. Okay.
it was a great acknowledgement, but it wasn't like, "Ooh, I get this, let me keep doing it." Like, I was gonna do it regardless, whether I got it or
Uh,
not. And
okay.
so
Okay.
yeah.
Where do you feel that sense of confidence comes from when it comes as it relates to you? Where does that stem from? Have you always had that?
Mhm.
Or is that something that was acquired after maybe some rejection at an
Mhm.
earlier age and you said, I can't continue to act like this, otherwise I'm going to feel let down or um people are not going to be able to connect with me the way I need them to. So where did
Mhm.
that confidence come from?
I think the early on confidence probably just came from dealing with family, judgmental family, family that, that was always trying it, and me having to, like, just, like,
Trying it.
all it,
What you
and
mean?
I
What you mean by what? What you mean by trying it?
trying it, like, in a sense, like, when it came down to who they thought I was as a young person, the name calling, as we call it, the
Mm,
joning,
the
um,
jolly.
or flaming if you were in St. Louis at the time.
We
Yes,
use that. We use
flaming.
that. We use that
Flaming,
down here in Texas We too. use that. We use.
flaming.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like they were just always trying to, in a sense, when it came to like them thinking I was them, I guess, assuming or thinking I was already a part of the LGBT community before I ever even had the language myself to self-identify. And then at that time, they were
Mhm.
identifying it wrong anyway, because they didn't know nobody that was trans or et cetera, et cetera. So they were calling it one thing when it was never that. It was something completely different. But yeah, I think having to deal with that, having to deal with family who was always, negative and talking about me and messing with me and me having to like stick up for myself because it really wasn't a, a place where I was going to turn where I was like, oh, they going to have my back or they going to protect me. Like, no, I had this. So I grew up being a smart mouth, always in trouble because I wasn't going to let nobody try me. And then when, and
Yeah.
my mother at the time, we've since grown and I love her. It's like one of my best friends. But at the time, she was more of that person where I was like, I can do it, but you can't do it.
Mm,
So if something happened and she found out about it, she would address it. But if we at home and you doing the same stuff, then am I really being protected, or am I just? Or again,
right.
it's just you. Only you can do it, but they can't do it. So I think that's where it came from early on, which is a trickle down effect of like how I am as a grown person, where I'm very independent. Please know that I don't need you, because when people think they need you, they think they can treat you any kind of way, and you just can't do that because I don't. I don't. I know
Okay.
who I need.
Come on. Come on. Yeah, that's definitely gonna be put on the shirt. Production is in it. We'll agree. That's we're gonna put that on the shirt. We're gonna run the tape back. Run the tape back. No, that's dope. That's really dope. And that's very important. There was a reason why I asked that is because not everyone has that same level of confidence that, and when they're going through their journey, dealing with the criticism from family, friends, people that you thought you were close with, etc. A lot of times you find family outside of your blood, right?
Yeah.
And like you were saying, like you said
Chosen.
your chosen family, but that it started with when you went to school, right? That was your first family at your high school.
Yeah, in my theater department, troop 787.
Your theater department. Okay. What was your first official acting gig?
Well, they all official to me. But if you're referring to TV, I did a lot of background when I moved here in 2016. But as far as my first speaking role on a TV show, it was P Valley.
You.
If I auditioned in 2018 and then ended up filming in 2019, and then the show came out in
Okay.
2020.
Right. So walk us through that process because P Valley is definitely an iconic show, especially in the community. And when you first got on set, what was that like? How were you?
Well, interestingly enough, the first time when we did a rehearsal.
Mm-hmm.
We were at Tyler Perry Studios for season 1, and so we did a rehearsal, and I remember us being upstairs in one of the rehearsal rooms, and I remember it being some of the cast and then, like, their stand-ins if they weren't able to make it because they were filming at the same time that we'd be doing these rehearsals and table reads. Um, and I just remember I was gonna be on the other side of the room, they were gonna start on this side, and, not thinking much of it, just super excited and, like, "Oh my." Then the day of came, and I just remember walking on the set itself after hair, makeup, all that stuff, and I gagged because as we were walking into the jail cell. So on season 1, I'm in season 1, episode 5. That was my first episode
Appearance.
and appearance. And so I just remember walking into that jail cell and I'm seeing all of these men in this jail cell, and I'm like, wait, that's where I'm gonna be with them. And it gagged me. It gagged me because, the relations between black cis men and black trans women is just not the greatest, period. And so I think I had to like put Toni in my back pocket and bring out Nineveh, which is my character's name. Um, to say, Toni, like, this isn't a real space. Like, you're okay, you're safe, you're protected. So make it about Nineveh and not about you. So I just had to put myself in my back pocket and, let the character do her thing. But I gagged severely. I gagged severely the first time.
What's creepy? How much would you putting Tony in your back,
Mhm.
delving into who your character was?
Mhm.
When you had to get rid of the character and put Tony back on, was it hard? Was it difficult for you?
No, because at that point, on set, when you're filming a TV show, it's so much cut, reset, action, cut, reset. So by that time, you didn't gain some sense of, okay, yeah, that initial gag is gone and out the window because now you know for sure, oh, this is fiction. Like, this is not real life right now. This is a scene, on a set stage. And like, yeah, we're telling a real story, because I know plenty of girls that have been put in prisons or jail cells with men, cis men, who are the girls that are trans. But in that particular moment, I was okay. And I also remember there's a part when Tiffany Black, she plays the part of the instigator, and she says to Jesse, who's um the police officer, he says to her, "Do you want to go over there and join Nineveh?" And the cut takes to where I'm sitting down and all of these men have to like be over me. And I remember so clearly, like we were doing that scene and they were like kind of far from me. And I was like, I had to like make them feel comfortable to come into my
Mm.
like y'all can
Right.
like it's okay. Y'all can come closer. Y'all can tap me or whatever. Like it's okay. And so it's crazy how I came in gagging, nervous. I had to put me in my back pocket and then eventually had to make them feel comfortable with doing what they were hired to do. So it was an interesting thing. So by then, like I said, by the time we got done, I was completely back to myself. When I think of the cringe moment, it's still that initial gag of like, "Oh my god, I didn't realize that was gonna happen, but I should have known."
You know, the crazy thing is that on a different side of I just recently completed filming a civil rights, right? And one of the actors was actually one of my good friends who is a different persuasion. And, and he had to like roughly in this particular scene, and literally it was like I said, "Do what you gotta do, bro. We at work. We're working.
Mhm.
So do what you gotta do so we can get the job done. And we don't need 5 nigga takes. Let's get it done in 2.
Mhm.
Get your shit. I'm gonna get my shit. Let's move forward." It was like, "You okay? I'm good, bro. Let's do it again."
Mhm.
Like, cause y'all get 2. Y'all get 2 for me for this particular thing. And so literally I understand you having to have that conversation with the people that are in the scenes with you to,
But so that was your first scenario in which you had to make your castmates feel comfortable, correct?
Mhm. And it wasn't the castmates, it was the background because that was their assignment in that being in that jail cell, for the top of that particular scene within the episode. So, they
Yeah.
didn't know me, I didn't know them. Actually, it was one that I did know, and we had
Mhm.
did background together. And I remember when I came up, they opened the jail cell door, and my stand-in, she came out, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go in
come on,
there."
Stanley. Come on, Clan Pink. Oh, shoot.
She came out, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go in there." And I remember going into the cell and them closing the door. It still me and gag, full gag, okay? And I remember I looked to my right, and there was a guy named Troy, and we had done background work together. And I was like, "Oh my God, you don't know how much I'm so glad to see your face right now."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
A familiar face.
Yes, and so I always have to mention Troy in that, specifically in that part when I first come into the cell, because he was literally right there, and so that also gave me a sense of, okay, I'm here, somebody I know, like I'm okay. Um, but yeah, it was, I think it's just always interesting, even as trans people in general, how we have to make other people feel comfortable with us. And it's like, girl, I shouldn't have to make nobody feel comfortable with me. Like, I'm a person just like you are, and
I'm me.
I
I'm me.
mean, like you're you, you know?
Yeah.
But that's what I had to do in the moment.
We get this check so I can clear.
Okay.
Right. No.
So
Right.
after that first shoot
Mhm.
wrapping up, did you
So I have to let you know, he's like a really big, you know.
Oh, I am, yes. I didn't know
So
where he was going with that.
no, a really valid man. And so the gag is that.
Well, thank you, because I'm just as big of a fan too. I really am. I love.
So that was actually where I was.
Big fan too. Let's go get some.
So that was so where I was going with that was being part of the cast and what the show represented for the community. How did that make you feel being part of the what the show represented? Like it's not just another show that's on FX or on TV. Like it means something, right? So what did that being on the show mean to you?
My first thought is always Katori being a woman of her word. Because what people don't know, and maybe some do, but I auditioned in 2018 for the role of Uncle Clifford. And a lot of people did, of all genders, identities. And I always say, and I don't know this to be true, but I always say I think it was Katori's way of like finding and discovering new talent. Because if you look at that show, there's only about a handful of people that were A-listers. Everybody else is like people you may have never seen, may have seen and really can't identify, but she had really made a platform for people. And I remember after my audition when I found out Nico got it, because nobody can do Uncle Clifford like Nico. We had a Twitter conversation and she was like, we will play one day. And so to know that that one day was that following year, like that's always my first thought. It was like a Black woman, cis woman at that, opened the door for a Black trans woman to like be a part of her world and her universe. She created space. And not only did she create it, she's kept that door open for me to still be here till season 3. So I'm just forever grateful. Like I'm just super, super forever grateful.
Let me tell you something about this. Because I love her for sure. Literally. So let's just do it. Go on. So let me tell you about Katori. Like I love. You hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
So, in 2016, I had the privilege of being a part of the cast for Her Village, which is a very strong part of Katori's repertoire, right? And literally, she came to see the show, right? And she was like, "That's not why I saw cornbread, because it's the character." Right? I said, "What? Put my spin on it." And she said, "I will work with you." Because when you hear, "I want to work with you in this business," it's like, okay, great, that's fine. You hear that often. It's like a dime a dozen. Okay, great. Fine. Right. Next. Several years later, I had the opportunity to go and write on word, which was Pussy Valley. Let's go ahead and put that in there. Like, down to the thing. Literally, that's how I started the rest of my days. What I do? What I do with this? Long and short. The notion that she says what she says and mean what she says. I can validate that. And or what I can say to you, baby girl, I love you.
Yeah.
For sure, because my kids are eating because of that.
Yeah.
For sure, 1000%. Then what season? You're seeing my name on it for sure.
So you say that again. You said season 1 or all of them?
This was mid-season 1.
Mid-season 1. Okay.
This is the 1 and 2. I wrote 6 episodes. was one of his writers.
Got you.
And where I put my son, well, but he's definitely present.
Nice. Well, congratulations to you.
See,
This kind of know how to do it. Can you hear, right? Hear the birds?
No, I can't.
That thing. In this park, because I think you're.
No, I'm sorry.
No, jump out. Clearly, we got some work to do.
Fury.
I had to move my thing.
Well, I had to move my damn mic so that you can hear him. Language. We're sitting here with you. Appreciate you guys for still watching, tuning in, whatever the case is. So, what project? Because I have some other questions for you, but we're gonna
we do that. Do a break.
we want to take a break.
How do we do a break?
Oh, virtual. How you do a break? Well, we can take a break. We'll be right back, guys. Make sure you like, share, follow, and subscribe. I did it. I said it good, guys. Do all 4 of those actions. And make sure you watch all these other episodes that you got going on. But we'll be right back, guys. Welcome back, guys. We are back from our break. No one took a potty break. Production suggested that we take a potty break. And I'm like, how old are we? Okay. Listen, we're still here. We're Tony. Y'all make some noise. Then giving us some little nuggets when I press the clap button. You probably can't hear. Giving us little nuggets and little insights on the lifestyle, being on production sets, the first official gig you had, how sometimes that you have to bring people that you're working with onto your level to get them to say, hey, we're good. Like, I want you to feel comfortable. I want you to be the best version of yourself, or we're working together on set. But with that being said, I also want to ask another question. What do you feel was the most difficult experience you've had in the realm of entertainment?
Costume and wardrobe.
Let's talk about that.
They not P Valley, but other shows I've been on.
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, like I'm a plus size girl, and like my brand is Mother Lush and Plush, and so that's another way of saying size, thick, whatever. And so I have been on sets before where it's just kind of like I can't be sexy because y'all ain't got clothes that's gonna fit me right and fit my body right. I gotta look like I'm in stuff that's too big, pants too big, shirt too big, everything is too big because y'all ain't got the right sizing, or maybe because the body types that are already on the show, maybe y'all not thinking about other sizes whenever, y'all are shopping for guest stars or co-stars or whatever. And so that to me has been one of the most difficult things. I'll never forget this past April, I was on a show where I saw myself and I was just like, I wouldn't even add that scene, even though it was a great scene, I wouldn't even add it to my reel because I was just not pleased with what I saw. And as a plus size person, I'm not gonna always be happy with my weight, but it should, I would think or hope, still look good or translate well on camera. And for me, it just didn't. So that's probably probably one of the biggest things I've had to deal with. You would think it would probably be people or a black man because a lot of, a couple of shows I've been on are like black shows, but not even that. Like I haven't even had a negative or bad experience with that, and I hope I don't. But
that's good.
But yeah, so it was more so that than anything. That's the first thing that comes to mind because that was recent.
So having the accommodations for wardrobe, that was probably
accommodations, period.
Right.
And so I grew up, Taraji spoke about it.
Mm-hmm.
She spoke about it. And Taraji is probably one of the creme of the deliverance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so if she's speaking about it, those of us who are not on her level can speak about it too. And there's no, it's not just her. Bitch, we got her talking to her saying, if you didn't get no food, went down to, we ain't getting no food either.
Yeah.
So it's definitely, if you're speaking and we're speaking too, we can make waves together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it's just one that. So hair, makeup,
Mm-hmm.
wardrobe, if you have anything that is on your one sheet, superior.
What's a one sheet?
So it is literally like a list of what you have to be able to work.
Oh, okay. Your list of demands.
The what?
It's your list of demands.
The bands. I was like, what's that? Is that the group? But yes, it's literally a list of demands. And it's like, I have to have temperature on this.
Mm-hmm.
Cumbra water. Red M&Ms.
You have to have red M&Ms. What's the difference? They all taste the same. Why do you have to have red? This sound petty as hell.
You read that. Put that on the ace.
I'm mad at you from hearing it.
It was when I realized that how to require something to be able no stop. I mean that wholeheartedly because being a child and moving into the spaces of just a number inward.
Okay.
I had a list of demands. Look, like the time 18, and literally I was doing a session, and I said, I want to read M&Ms. And it was the thing.
That's so petty. So you did it because you had the power to do it, not because you necessarily wanted reading.
Right. But at that particular time, that was the reason why. And so on my one issue, even as a writer, get me to my children.
Wow.
Literally. Tell me what.
Yeah. So what do you have on your one sheet? What's something that's give me a couple of things on your one sheet? I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't have one. I never created one. I never honestly, and I think it's because coming from the indie world where baby, listen, you get what you can get. Coming from your background, where you know, it's what they call them, cattle calls or whatever, when it's like a big group of people.
Nothing. Let casting couch. Is that what you said?
Huh?
The casting.
No, like I think they call them cattle calls or something. Well, it's like a big group of people all at like one time. Sometimes it's smaller, but a big group.
Yeah.
And so like you become
Gotcha.
obviously there, you become a number, you're a background actor, you're there to contribute to the space and to the scene. But what I would notice when I was on that side, I was like, oh my God, like they treat them like, baby, they roll out the red carpet. And so for me, because I come from this independent space of like, I can do it. I come with my hair done. I come with my makeup done. You got to bring your own damn wardrobe, half of your damn closet to see what they gonna like and not like. Um, and that doesn't even stop as an actor because sometimes I still had to do that for TV shows. Some of my shit in my closet has been on the TV show because of wardrobe choices, or lack thereof. Um, but yeah, like I was just so used to like being self-sufficient, independent. And so sometimes they are even like yesterday, I was walking to set, got on the bus, we went over to the location and I had my shoes and they were like, Toni, you don't have to carry these. Like we have these. And I'm like, yeah, I get it, but sometimes I just be in the moment to go. Like, if it's time to go, I'm grabbing my things that I need so I can go. So it's not me always thinking about it. So I like to say is I don't have a sheet because I don't think about it in that way. Um, but I'm learning, baby, ask and you shall receive, because
Yes.
they gonna make sure if they got it, they're gonna make sure you got it. And if they don't, they'll go look for
That's
it.
the thing. That's the thing. And that's the thing. It's not about, because red M&Ms, right? I can get M&Ms and I can have my assistant pick out the red M&Ms clearly. But it's about knowing your worth, right? And knowing that they're going to make money off of you and be able to at least get something in the moment while you're creating what's going to make money for them. And so, and I think that is just, and in the back of my mind, like literally, they're making money off you, right? So let me be comfortable while you make money off of, I'm going to get my money that you promised me, but let me also be comfortable in
Yeah.
some sense. There's other things that are on the one sheet, right? And then use several very, but you have to know that it's okay for you to ask for things, right? Be comfortable in being okay with saying, I want this. I need this. Be okay. And it's just OG to legit. So you can understand.
Okay, look at big brother over here trying to give advice. What projects are you working on now? Like we talked about P Valley for a bit, but like what do you want to tell the world that you're working on right now?
Well, right now is P Valley season 3. I know a lot of
Okay,
people think it's
okay,
not being filmed, but it's being filmed. Baby, I was at a clock this morning, my yonder. But the sun was coming up. The sun was out when I got there, and the sun was coming back up when I left. But yeah, we're definitely filming, ladies and gentlemen, and those at the Twitter.
okay.
Um,
Come on, Brigade.
yeah. So project wise, that's pretty much it. Because what I realized is, I just signed with management recently, and in my first meeting, we were just talking about how the industry is kind of like operating at a 25%. So like this, if you're a working actor in this season, like baby, be very grateful, be very thankful and blessed to all of the things, because it is just not moving at the pace that we are used to it prior to the strike. Um, but
Gotcha.
what I'm hearing is come the maybe end of 23 and then the top of 20. I'm sorry, end of 24, top of 25. Damn. Um,
Yeah, right.
but then should
Exactly.
be picking back up. I'm like, wait, I said 23. I'm like, wait, hold on. But yeah,
Like, we
things should
live
be
in
picking back up, and we should hopefully be getting back to some type of normalcy. And then, we enter the pilot season, green lit season, all of that kind of stuff. A lot of shows starting to film again. Um, so yeah, so right now the only thing, and I'm so grateful because it's the biggest thing on the resume is P Valley. But hopefully down the line.
Hey, friend. Yeah, he hit that sound button.
I had a sound, but I wish you can hear it because like it adds
What
to
it
like
say?
we go. It say you a friend. You say when you
Oh, that's when y'all do that. Okay, got it.
Context.
no, but that's dope though. That's why I said you a friend because you said that's the biggest thing. One of the biggest things on your resume is P Valley. So that's definitely an accomplishment, and it's not something you just swipe left.
So let me ask you.
Hey, oh, go ahead.
So with having the P Valley situation, right? That's this network. And then you have this other project that I know that you are a part of, how does that work when you have interworkings, different networks? For you.
Wait,
For you.
what's the other project? You talking about the Shire? Oh, okay.
The jump up. I said,
I was like, wait, what you know that I don't know? Yeah, you know I'm getting casted or something. No, I'm just playing.
I mean, I do. I'm in the rooms.
Well, you know, thank you. I receive it all. I do. Um, well, the thing is, they never overlapped because we filmed, my sister, my Ro and I, we filmed 4 episodes this season 16. Oh, I'm sorry. Season 6, it was 16 episodes. So we filmed 4. We did 2 pre-strike and then we did 2 post-strike, which was this year. So they really didn't overlap. And then too, on both shows, I'm a recurring co-star. So it was really no overlap. But what was nice to go to the Shy was all of the things I have filmed have been here in Atlanta. And so this is the first thing I did that I had to travel for. So that was nice to get that experience of, you know, the car picking you up, taking you to the airport, you know, the hotel.
Oh, okay.
Because that's a thing. That's a thing. When they pick you up,
Yeah, I had never experienced that. I was like, oh, I say, so this how you do every time you come down here to film something? Okay, you used to them.
How you put that on your one sheet?
Okay. I
I
need a black car.
you know, you need a car to pick me up.
Okay.
You need to wait. Don't need to wait. You need to be there.
I don't want no ride share.
Here.
But yeah, it was nice.
No, okay. No, that's dope.
They never overlapped or conflicted.
So it's good to know that part of it. Because oftentimes when you have networks that are not necessarily competing, but they're competing, right? Because numbers matter. And so oftentimes, especially like with your named actors and actresses, right? And even producers, like you can't work on this show because it's on this net and they're competing with us. It may not be your show that is competing with their project that they have, but it's like it's happening, right? And so oftentimes, and even as a writer specifically, I know that it's moved away from my pigeonhole and being pigeonholed. But what you notice is that the networks have non-compete options in their contracts, and that's why I asked that. Did you know it's like it was around the same time?
I'm thinking maybe for the series regulars because there's a bigger level of commitment from them. But for maybe yeah, I don't know. I think it might be like a series regular thing, maybe. And I don't know all of the
I don't either. I'm no lawyer.
like I know Gail, for example, she last season she was a recurring guest star, but she was also I don't know if she was a recurring guest star or a series regular on Snowfall. So she was doing both shows at the same time. So I know when you know the recurring or like the co-star guest star thing is different, obviously, from the series regulars because their level of commitment is just so much more. So it could be that, but I know I didn't have any of that within my contract. So yeah.
I just wanted to know because I don't know what your contract state. And you don't know what mine. Well, I just just wanted to have like a visual mental on what that looked like for you specifically.
And I can see how that would be something for like writers in particular because the girls be trying to sue saying people stole their whole idea, and then losing work. But I'll leave that where it's at.
The beautiful part, reflect. Artistic is my friend, so I'll anything. I'm turning my camera on.
I enjoy her on R&B Divas. I said no shade to her. I enjoyed her on R&B Divas.
Mm. He turned his camera off, so you can't even see his face right now. So I'm going to ask another set of questions here. So, like, we've talked about your affinity or your current pathway, which involves entertainment, right? Being on these like iconic shows like P Valley and entering and filming with Shy and working with these. She didn't even mention it. Like I asked her, I said, "Are you working on something else?" Like,
well, the reason why it didn't come up because I'm thinking future, and I'm like, the Shy is over. Like they're filming season 7 right
I did
now.
word it a
So
certain bit. Okay,
season 6 over.
I should have said any other concurrent projects.
Yeah, like that's where my mind was going. But yeah, that was definitely something I was on this year for sure. So I guess I should have mentioned that.
Are you gonna be back on?
No, not. I think this season, and I don't know anything particular in what's happening, but I can't. I don't know. But sure is yeah, we probably won't. Yeah, be back this. Yeah, but I don't know what's going down in Chicago. All I know about is Chuck and Lisa right now, and this. That's all I know about. However, I'm grateful for Lena Waithe because she made that. She created that opportunity, so I'm very, very grateful. Hopefully, we can work together again, maybe on a different project.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Shout out to the Shine. That's where I'm originally from, Chicago, and yeah, so it was nice seeing. It's nice seeing a depiction of Chicago on the screen.
What is be a good thing on this?
I grew up on the South Side. But leave me alone. Anyways, ignore production, y'all, because production over here cutting up being taking some mess today. So, what do you like to do for fun?
Not
You
being
think about that too loud.
Yeah, because y'all, I'm a homebody. I really don't go nowhere. I really be at home. But when I'm like, okay, Tony, you got to get out of this damn box, okay? Called an apartment that you pay for. I like to go bowling. I love to go to the movies. I'm gonna go see Bleak twice tomorrow.
Okay.
I what did I say? Bowling. Oh, shooting pool. I love playing
Okay.
pool. So like simple stuff. I'm in ballroom, so I do that whenever something's happening there. But yeah, I'm not a clubber or party. Huh?
Worrying girl. Let's talk about it.
Oh, let's talk about ballroom.
What you want?
What you want?
So in the Kiki scene, I am legendary face. I'm the first face legend for our Atlanta Kiki scene, first femme queen legend and face legend. But over my time in ballroom, I've walked realness, femme queen realness, performance, femme queen performance, and then face, specifically femme queen face.
And what does the ball scene mean for you?
Honestly, it was a space that I had knew about when I was very young. It was a space I used to escape to when I was trying to escape my family and my family knowing anything about any kind of culture I was a part of because like I mentioned earlier, it was just too toxic. Like I'm trying to escape y'all. Let
Yeah.
me go find some fun and happiness. And so that's what I did. So I learned about ballroom very early when I was like in middle school. And I don't know if you remember, there was a club in East St. Louis called the G Spot. And
Yes.
to
I
go
do.
to the G Spot I want to say, I think it was like Friday, Saturday. And I'll never forget the year. It was 2006 because every time we would come up out that club, Kurt Franklin's Imagine Me being the university guy, which I was trying to say right now. But I always remember that song being on the radio coming out. But yeah, that's my first discovery. And then I actually joined in 2009 by way of like HIV advocacy work, and which is crazy. But yeah, art, the arts. I watched Rent. I don't know if y'all have ever seen Rent, and then
Yes.
learned about the AIDS epidemic of the 80s and 90s. That like really changed my life because I didn't know that was happening. And then a really popular, iconic Hall of Famer in Ballroom called Luna. His name is Luna
Mhm.
Louise, but also icon Luna Khan. He did a lot of advocacy work. And so that attracted me to him, as well as he did a lot of education work on Ballroom. He had a show called The Luna Show. And yeah, we connected. He brought me into his house. He made me his daughter. And this was again in 2009. And so I've been in Ballroom ever since.
Okay.
I didn't always like take it seriously like other people took it seriously, but because of college and moving around. But yeah,
Yeah, sure.
it's always been a part. I mean,
Life is life, man. I get it.
you know,
So, are you familiar with the show Pose, right?
yes. Mhm.
Okay, so would you say that that show is an accurate depiction of the ballroom scene?
It was an accurate depiction of the time span that it covered from the
Mm. Like it
the
was the 80s, right?
I want to say they might even reach back to the 50s too in a couple of them like episodes when they were going back in time, but definitely the 80s, definitely the early 90s. Excuse me, but I would definitely say it was an accurate depiction of that time frame. It's so much different now, even like ball
Oh,
structure
really? Okay.
different.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I love Pulse, and I always um, I just hate that it ended so soon. I really hate that it ended
Yeah.
so soon. I feel like there was still much more story to tell. I feel like it could have evolved even to like present day. But when a creator says he's told all of the stories he wanted to tell, then what can you do? But appreciate the art for
Yes.
what it was.
I love seeing Mother Blanca on the
Yeah,
screen
Blanca.
and Miss Electra.
Yes.
Shout out to you guys. Okay, so you talk about being an HIV advocate,
Mhm.
and so like what you mentioned a little bit on how you got involved into that realm,
Yeah.
but is there anyone in your life
Mhm.
that you know that was possibly like suffering from it, and it was like it became like a more of a tie to you, or like what was like your tie? What brought you into that realm?
Mm. In the beginning, no, not that I knew of, because
Okay.
no one that I knew personally was disclosing of their status. But that movie in particular I don't know, it just really did something to me. And I was like, oh my God. Outside of the music and like the stories being told, just the message was just really beautiful. And when I was in college, someone in my village, I'll just say without getting too specific, but someone in my village did disclose that they were newly diagnosed. And I just remember
Mhm.
it was like right before I had went to church that day.
Oh wow.
Come
And
on,
I remember
deliver.
they told me, and I was like, it's like in that moment, I had no time to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It was like, okay, well, so this is what we doing now. We finna create an action plan. You gonna get in care. You gonna stay healthy. You gonna do this, to do this. U equals you, undetectable equals untra. Like that was the initial conversation, like right into it, because I didn't want it to feel like your life that person's life was over because it's not, and
Yeah. Right.
you can manage and like live and be healthy and happy and still have a full life. So like this is not the end. And I think that's where my mind went to. And then I just remember that same day going to church and like in church breaking down, like feeling like, oh my God, like then all of those emotions of like what they're
The weight of all of
saying,
it. Yeah.
yeah, it just like hit me. But I never tried to let them see it because I wanted them to know they had somebody that was gonna advocate for them, period.
Okay. Well, that's real, and I think the question I wanted to ask after, as you were talking about that, I wanted to ask was,
Mhm.
um, oftentimes do you feel like you're that person, like you don't show emotions right away. You're like a, what's the plan? Like,
Wow.
does that version you serve as like the default, and then later on you
Mhm.
normally process things, or allow the weight of the situation to kind of like seep in so you can kind of fully understand? Is that what you normally do?
I think that's kind of accurate. As a Scorpio, I'm a person that I'm very passionate.
Oh, that explains it. But
I'm very passionate.
Let me turn my camera. Let me turn my camera on.
I'm passionate and I'm very
stern.
stern. I'm like both at the same time. And I hate surprises. Like I hate when people try to surprise me. I need to know what's going on at all times. I think that's also a part of that where I'm like, I don't want this diagnosis. Well, in that moment, this diagnosis to make you feel surprised, like you don't know what's going to happen. So in my mind, let's get control now and let's create an action plan. So there is no surprises. So you already know what to do, what to look out for, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's where my mind went. And even, with my ballroom kids, my chosen kids, all of that is always is never given. I mean, it gives that. There's balance. Oh, put you on my shoulder. But that comes after. Like, we're not finna sit in this too long. We're not finna sit in this too long. Because we
Yeah.
know that when we
Yeah.
sit in this too long, we know where that can lead. And so that's how I've always done it, where, yeah, let's be we can cry. Weeping may endure for a night. But joy comes in the morning, they say. So, but baby, that night
Imagine me.
didn't last that long for me. So let's get to it.
It's
Let's the word
Yes.
thing out and move forward. Because I just truly want people to be the best versions of themselves at the end of
With
the day.
themselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that is something that with this show, without you knowing it, Tony, is something that we strive to exude with this show, being the best version of you. Not only the guests, but also the viewers. If you can hear something on this show that sparks something to ignite the best version of you, then we've done our job. At the end of the day, we've done our job. Because all it takes is a spark, and it ignites. And if you can be the best version of you by then, bravo. At the end of the day.
You know she can't see you, right?
You doing all of this, I see.
There's no visual.
My sister, my Elise, who's also on the Shy in P Valley, she just started her podcast called the Most Important Person Podcast. And what I love about it, because she always says, because you are the most important person in your life. And I think that's important. And because so many times we think about what the world is thinking or what everybody else got to say, but it can't always be about them. You got to prioritize self. And
Absolutely.
and I think that's where my mind is always at too in those situations. Like, let's prioritize you and not everybody else and what they're thinking and what they feel and the judgments and the stigmas. Like, no, we're not gonna do that. We can deal with that later, but right now it's about you. And we got to figure out you and what you doing moving forward.
Period. Period. Yeah. He want to put that on a shirt too. See? It's a lot of little nuggets we've been dropping in this episode. Be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. No, I don't care. Because it's important, because it's going to help episodes like this really get out there, get the message out there for people that may be going through something like we talked about earlier. You just never know who is meant to receive this message on this platform. And so we open it up for everybody. I want to, before we wrap up, I want to ask one major topic.
Okay.
And I think I would hope that you would help me shine some light on this. What is it like in the dating realm for you?
A fool. It is a fool.
Why is it a fool? Let's talk about it.
Because oh my God, it's a fool. Because and I just feel like I feel like trans people, our stories are just always so similar because the treatment from people, it's just always the same when it comes to that. And so, um, you just have people that over sexualize you so much. So it becomes about, what that mouth do. You got
Oh
people
wow.
that think, oh, well, if I date you, you're a man, and so that'll make me gay, and I'm not gay. And I'm like, oh, you have that group. You have the group that's like, oh my God, I know that I wouldn't be gay. I know that's not how I identify, but yeah, I'm not ready because the world won't let me um love or like or date who I want to date publicly without it could potentially impacting my job or my career or my
Yeah.
relationship to my family. Or let's say I have children, what that relationship would be like with them via, the co-parent. So it's so many factors. But what I know to be true for me is that I don't have to journey through any of that with anybody. You can figure that out. And when you're ready to figure that out, then you can let me know. And so I think because you have more of those experiences than not, at this point, child, just have a cute little friend with benefits and just leave it at that. Like that's what it really is. That's what it really is.
What that mean though? What does that mean?
Which the
A
friends with
friend,
benefits.
then yeah, a friend with benefit. What does that mean?
I'm
Though?
like, you
Because
know the
even
fuck, buddy.
just be. Okay, and he's
Fuck ready. No.
I was gonna keep it here. Well,
We
but
both get our
Right, that's
our
what-
climax. We have our little moment, and we carry on. We might say, "Hey, how are you?" That's the friend part, because y'all really act. Y'all really don't even have that level of investment in each other anyway. So at least you can say, "Is hey, how are you doing?" And then it leads to what you doing, so you get down to the benefit part.
Come on now. Come on now.
I've been abstinent for almost it'll be 5 years in October, and I think that was kind of my way of like,
God damn. Never.
Return my pillow. Yeah.
But
kind of in my way of like fasting and like trying to like not attract the same attention. Like
I thought
I don't entertain DL man. I don't entertain nothing that don't know who I am and that's misgendering me. I don't entertain none of it. So for me, I'm just like a lot of many days it's clear why I'm single because I don't have time for the bullshit. And I don't let shit slide either. You say one thing to me and I'm done.
it's the Scorpio.
it's the Scorpio in
Wow.
you.
It bleeds over down to the Sagittarius.
Boring. No, that's real. So you don't get caught up in that, and or become unfocused, if you will.
Yeah.
And I understand what that's like. Understanding the boundaries that's necessary for you to be sustained right now. Having you said a fuck buddy, that's the boundary. Like that's what it is. Hey friend, how are you?
Right. That's
Pull the dick out. Like
Yeah, I mean, because my thing is that's what it gave before the abstinence started. And like even like I said, trying not to attract that energy, it's still gonna come because you're trans. Like you have an audience of people that will always look at you a certain kind of way. So no matter what you do, they'll always be lurking. But 5 years later, I still ain't found no boyfriend. I still ain't found no potential husband. So it's kind of like it's an experiment, if you will, to really show me that, damn, you might just have to be a lesbian. Might just have to be a lesbian because ain't nothing changed in 5 years. You might just have to get you got to be a masculine presenting lesbian, but a lesbian.
like there was no.
production is having a field day over there. Shut up. So with that being said,
Okay.
we talked about your childhood earlier. We talked about how you were accepted.
Mhm.
Do you feel the way you feel now,
Mhm.
and when you're looking for people to date and things of that nature, do you feel like acceptance from the family, them having a good core version of themselves, knowing who they are, being accepted, and then when it comes to you, you had to go through your various adversities of being accepted at an early age. Do you feel that that's one of the components that you would look for in a person that you were trying to date, is them trying to have an acceptance of themselves?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. Because I was definitely gonna say that too. For me, it's never about anybody accepting me per se, because you don't have the power to do that. I already did that work myself. And once I've done that work, no, it don't matter. Like what they say, you don't have to like me, but you will respect me. So like
Yeah,
at that point, we're
yes,
all human
yes,
beings living. So let's at least respect each other. But do you have to
right,
accept me? No, because I don't give a fuck. I done did that work. But if you're going to be trying to love and date me, you absolutely have to do that self work or self acceptance. Because if I've done that work to get to where I am, and now I got a journey with somebody who ain't done that work for themselves, no. Mm-mm. Because again, I'm
absolutely,
not here to walk hand in hand with you through that journey, because I don't have to, nor do I have the capacity, the bandwidth, the energy, none of that to do it. Though even the want, I just don't have it. Now I can empathize and say I understand, but that doesn't mean I have to journey with you.
exactly.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, though, Tony, what I have to ask is, when you find that person,
Mm-hmm.
and it's that person, right? And again, I go back to those 6 questions or 6 options that we have to check off, right? But then they don't check off 3 of those options, but they got 3 of the pivotal moments, that pivotal check offs. If you don't check off 5, but you checked off 1, and you checked off 3, and you checked off 6, I've already given you the option to check out those numbers, right? I've gotten to know you. I have a relationship with you. I'm leaning towards that 4-letter word. I'm leaning towards that. And so, do you pull away in the moment, right? Because you're invested in this time, and they're invested in you as well. So if they don't have that option to, I haven't had the option to be able to walk in the moment, self discovery. Are you not able to, meaning Tony, walk hand in hand with them to show them what it's like, because you've been there? Damn, damn, I did this whole thing. Really? What a little nervous right there. She's
And mainly because I don't owe that to nobody. Like and for me, I'm like, I did that work for myself and I'm where I am. So to feel like I gotta do that for somebody else, it's gonna feel like, well, fuck you being my man, you can be my child. So like, you know what I mean? Like I would think if I'm attracted to, I don't know, little people. Let's use little people for example.
Okay.
That I would do some kind of research or get some kind of understanding to know that that M word is offensive. So why would I go
Mm,
calling them the M word knowing that that's offensive? But research would have said little people, little person, little woman, little man, little individual. And then my even descriptor compared to them would be average height. Like I would think that I would at least do some bare minimum research about how do I interact, like what do I say that's correct and not gonna offend somebody.
yes, okay, and I appreciate you being honest and candid about the experience as a trans individual. But like, I definitely want to say before we wrap up, we appreciate you for coming on the show. Y'all make some noise from this Toni.
I figured it was coming too.
I wish it had sound effects. But yes, post production you will hear. So when we split, splice it together, it's gonna be there. So where can they follow you and find you and all those good things? How can they get connect to you?
I am on Twitter, well, X, Instagram, and YouTube and Facebook, all Toni Bryce Bryce. You can find me on all of those platforms. It's the same spelling, same written out the same way for all platforms. I mean, Facebook is different, just Toni Bryce, but you know.
Yeah. Already. Well, appreciate you and appreciate you guys for tuning in with us. The lives, the in the windows, the memes that we captured. We got at least 4 of them today. Go all be on the shirt. Yeah, thank you, Tony.
Wow, I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, we'll make sure when we roll them out, you're gonna be the first one to get the shirt or the mug or whatever the case is. We're gonna make sure you be the first one to know about it.
For sure, y'all.
Thank you. And make sure you guys subscribe, like, share, and comment on this episode and all the other ones that's on the website. Until next time, Jiggers, we out.